possible hope that life could return to some kind of normal here real soon seems to be met by the equal and opposite bad news of a new virus strain on the loose. Along with the personal pressures of routine life and ministry, it's in times like these that I feel tempted to just give up. How about you? You know, if you're feeling those temptations, you'd be in good company. In fact, that company would include King David. Remember the situation that we were considering last week? After discovering that their homes had been raided and destroyed and their families had been kidnapped and carried off by their enemies, David and his army were racked with grief. We're told in 1 Samuel 30, David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. Each was bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters. Now, while you can imagine what it would be like to have friends and coworkers that you have labored with side by side threatening to kill you over something that you couldn't control, you can also remember that in this situation, David himself had suffered great loss of his own. His own family had been kidnapped and carried off, just like everyone else's. I don't know about you, but I've been in a couple predicaments like that. And it's spiritually and emotionally excruciating at best. You know, you might be experiencing something like that today. Government authorities shut down your business or the business of your employer, and those who depend on you have become a natural source of expectation and pressure that compounds your own pain. Or you might have kids at home by no choice of your own, and as their education suffers, so do you as you're left with what appears to be few, if any, resources to do anything differently. It can be enough to make us want to give up. Or even worse, do something really stupid. Is there any hope? Can we find strength as even King David did? Well, you know, the story continues. And it continues this way in the following verse, in 1 Samuel chapter 30. It says, Then David said to Abiathar, the priest, the son of Ahimelech, Bring me the ephod. Abiathar brought it to him, and David inquired of the Lord, Shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them? You know, as I look at this event as it continues to unfold, I have to ask this question. Why did David choose to respond this way? Is there any significance in him calling for this guy named Abiathar? I think those are some good questions. You see, David had been in hopeless situations before. In fact, so had his friend, the priest Abiathar. In fact, you can read of those times in 1 Samuel chapter 22, beginning in verse 6 through chapter 23, verse 18. See, David had not only experienced God's protection and provision in hopelessness, but he had seen the Lord do the same for this friend of his, the priest. So when faced with this hopeless situation, David sought a word from the Lord. Or you could say David found strength in the Lord through his word. Do you need similar strength today? Consider this word from the Lord in Psalm 91. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust in him. For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. Friends, that's a word you can rest on. So, as you think about the situation around you today, you think about the difficulty presented in the context of life, I want you to be encouraged, my friend. The Lord is still strengthening those who seek him, even in this difficult season in life. And it begins by hearing a word from him. Merry Christmas, my friends. We do have a word from God. He became flesh and dwells among us. God bless you. Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you in a couple of days.